Good evening. My name is Nathalie Lebon. I was trained as an anthropologist of Latin America, but I have also taught about African cultures, especially as they relate to the enslaved people who were brought over to Latin America. But tonight I want to share with you my thoughts about a very special place, which I had the privilege to visit a number of years ago in Mali, West Africa. A place which explodes some sadly still deep-rooted myths about Africa. Africa as a place of primitive wilderness and as a dangerous place, and I believe perpetually ravaged by conflict. And I believe that contemporary stereotypes of African American men, especially African American men, as dangerous and violent, which strongly contribute to police brutality, can be traced to these views about Africa, about its past and its present. So this is why I would like to talk to you about Jenné, a city almost at the heart of the country of Mali in West Africa. I want to talk to you about Jenné because the ancient city of Jenné or Old Jenné, which stood practically in the same location, flourished there between 2050 BCE until the 19th century of our era. It boasted about around 20,000 inhabitants at its peak. It is thus one of the oldest cities south of the Sahara, founded more or less at the same time as Paris, France. And it thrived thanks to long-distance trade, fishing on the river Niger, as well as rich agricultural lands on the banks of the river. It was a very large city, especially by the standards of its time, and the archaeological site you can still visit today. So we don't know too much about it because of the lack of a system of writing in the area. But with time, Muslim traders also came to live there. And this ancient city was connected to the subsequent development of the three empires that flourished in this part of the world: the Empire of Mali, Empire of Songhai, and Empire of Ghana. And today, the medieval city of Jenné, with its impressive earth architecture, including a grand mosque overlooking the market, is still an important local trading center. So lesson number one tonight is that civilization has deep roots on the African continent, but we are not taught this history, in large part because it counters the narrative developed by Europeans to justify colonization and slavery. So we are taught that Africa has always been a wilderness in need of European knowledge and tutelage. The second reason I want to talk to you about Jenné has to do with what I saw there when we visited the contemporary city. It's a magnificent city with houses, palaces, and a very large mosque that are stunning examples of earth architecture. But what was even more magnificent for me was to see the multiplicity of ethnic communities in town for its market day. On the marketplace and throughout the streets, you could see Fulani cattle herder women displaying their wealth and status with their large gold earrings and amber head beads, and the Fulano men recognizable at their pointy hats. Bambara farmers were wearing their hand-woven white cotton shirts with a dark blue strip down the back. Bozo fisherfolks from the villages along the river Niger were there selling fish. And a few Tuareg nomads from the north were wearing their unmistakable indigo head wraps and flowing gowns. So these were all markers of ethnic belonging for us to see. And each were selling their goods on the market: Fulani beads, Tuareg leather goods and jewelry, Bambara cola nuts and foodstuff from the south, and all sorts of different types of cloth. But then what dawned on me was, how come we never hear about these successes at ethnic coexistence, right? Here you had so many different ethnic groups thriving together, sharing and trading. What can we learn from the region, from how the region gained this equilibrium? Instead, mainstream American culture tells us that Africa is a place of war and constant conflict. We never learn about these. So lesson 2 is that Africa is a place where we can learn a lot about peaceful coexistence of diverse communities on a given territory. And both lessons, I think, help undermine the stereotypes of African American men as violent and dangerous, uncontrollable and untamable, right? And these are stereotypes which have cost the lives of too many Black American men. And I think we can change that by setting the record straight about Africa. Thank you and good night.